deep in Syria's shadow, Lebanon knows all about shifts in power. This is Byblos, continuously inhabited since the Stone Age. The Egyptians imported papyrus from here, and the Greeks took the city's name as their word for a book. Our alphabet comes directly from the script invented right here. A local scholar, Yazid Mahfouz, explains that in its 8,000 years of existence, Byblos has seen a long parade of political masters.
Phoenicians, Egyptians, Akkadians, Sumerians, Hyksos, Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, Romans.
He might have added some names from modern times, the British, the French, the Americans. But now even American power seems to many people here to be fading. So who does that leave? The Russians? No, their diplomatic flurry is surely just a clever bit of opportunism. China? Well, one of the interesting things about this crisis is how quiet the Chinese have been. Their new leaders want to improve relations with the West, not strain them further. People used to think of Brazil and India as future superpowers. Not any longer. Down in the port of Byblos, where the ancient Egyptians shipped out their papyrus, I talked to Ziad Baz, an architect and restaurant proprietor.
Enough. We are very, very tired of this war.
He feels that after 20 years, when America has been the world's sole superpower, the Syrian crisis means it's having to shift aside a little. Do you think America is finished as a big power?
No. America, it's the most powerful country in the world. But what I'm saying, they are not alone. There is some power now. It's grew up. This is the dream of Russia.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a good dream. We should not let one country to play alone in this field. You have to make two players for the equilibrium.
But how has Syria shown up America's weakness in the past month? It's partly because of the 24-hour news effect. When they see pictures like these, American and British politicians have gotten used to asking themselves what should be done in these situations. Both President Obama and David Cameron forgot how weary the voters have become with trying to sort out other people's problems. In the refugee camps here, in places close to the Syrian border, you'd have to have a heart of stone not to be moved by the utter helplessness of people like these. This is a camp which doesn't even have a name. People here have lost everything, including maybe their own futures.
64, 65, 67, 88, 89, 7, 8.
This woman's name is Halima Ibrahim. She's already been here 5 months. What future does your family have here? There's no future for any of the children, she says. There's no future left. There's nothing left. One man I talked to here used to work with an aid agency inside Syria. Now he's a refugee too. I feel the world has abandoned us, he said. So if the West isn't in the intervention game any longer, and the Syrian problem needs Russian diplomacy to sort it out, what has the past month taught us about the world? This is the delightful campus of the American University of Beirut, a big part of American soft power in the region. I've come to see a famous Middle East academic and writer, Rami Khouri. I mean, there's no doubt, is there, that the United States has lost that kind of supreme power that it used apparently to have until just fairly recently.
It is, in the short run, strange that suddenly Russia is playing a big role and the Americans are responding to Russian initiatives, but that's only in the short run. I don't think the Americans have lost power. What they've lost is conviction and self-assurance. They don't really know what to do in the region. They have this compulsive, moral, exaggerated sense of responsibility for the well-being of the world, but they got enormous pushback in the Middle East, in Europe, and in the United States. What they're doing is learning how to deal with the world in a way other than simply as the world being a bunch of targets to bomb and markets to trade with.
So, weird things happened in September. Instead of a missile strike, Syria is now desperately confessing the extent of its chemical arsenal. September turned out to be the month when America's license as the world's only superpower expired. Now, the Syrian civil war might just possibly be sorted out by negotiation. If so, the refugees could go home. That really would be a result. I suspect we'll remember September 2013 for quite some time to come.